First thing I want to talk to you guys about disc blades is when it's time to replace them. We recommend after an inch of wear to replace our disc blades. These are 15-inch blades, so after they measure 14 inches across, it is time to replace. Also, a good thing to remember on these disc blades is that we do have a leading edge on these dual discs. So after about a half an inch of wear, flip-flop those blades. Take the right from the left and the left to the right, just so we can get some more life out of those disc blades. Next thing we're going to look at is blade contact. To check our blade contact, we're going to take a piece of paper in from the top and a piece in from the bottom and measure that distance. And this we're just a little bit over about an inch and a quarter, which is well within where we need to be. Usually I recommend around an inch of blade contact. What I don't want to see is not having any blade contact and you start getting dirt in between those disc blades and locking them up, or having too much blade contact. If you get up over an inch and a half, we're really pressing those two disc blades tightly together, which is putting stress on these flanges and can cause bearing failure. So how we adjust our blade contact is that we have washers on the inside of the blades. From the factory, you're usually probably going to have two washers on the inside and one on the out. Anytime we're adjusting these blades, we always want to remember to never throw away those washers. If we do not need a washer on the inside, move it to the back. The next thing we're going to talk about is our seed tube. Back in 2013, we switched from the buckskin seed tube to the optic red. It is a direct replacement. The only difference between the two is the material it's made out of. The reason we switched to the optic red is so that we could see that smaller seed better. Before, with the buckskin colored seed tubes, we couldn't see small crops such as canola or milo as well as we wanted to. But with the optic red, we can see through that tube a lot easier and be able to actually count a better population of those seeds going past there. If you are wanting to switch to the optic red seed tube, it's a pretty simple procedure there. We're going to remove our 4 bolts from the meter, move it to the side, pull out the pin here, and lift the whole seed tube and sensor assembly out through the top. When we do go back in to put our new seed tube on there, when we go put our sensor on, we're going to zip tie that sensor around the seed tube. But before we do that, we want to make sure we put a small dab of silicone in here between that eye and the seed tube. Make sure no dirt gets in between there. The next thing, moving on down here, is our blade separator. We do want to make sure that after a 1/4 inch of wear, we replace that blade separator. On some of the older units, we did not have the welded vert tube on here. That is standard equipment now. This row unit is equipped with the Keaton seed firmer. That is another option from the factory, or one that can be installed later. As far as adjustments to the Keaton, there is a set screw in here that will adjust the spring tension. And as far as wear, when we're seeing around a ½ inch of wear to this tail, it's probably time to replace it. Moving on back to our closing wheel assemblies here, you will see that we do have longs and shorts. Short row units, the ones with the short mount, get the long box. After we get our closing wheel assemblies on, we do want to make sure that this closing wheel is in line with the seating trench. We do have a couple bolts under here with the eccentric to be able to shift this closing wheel box from side to side to make sure it's lined up with the trench. As far as sitting down pressure, we do have our T-handle back here. Just like everything else, as we move forward is our lighter settings, as we move back is our heavier settings. Always start with the lightest settings and work our way down. Now, we also recommend using Great Plains OEM Fresh Start parts to ensure that the same part quality integrity goes back into your planner after a rebuild.